Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to today's live session. I'm so excited to have all of you here today because what we're going to talk about is a concept that's very close to my heart, and that is the negative emotions that we go through. You see, all this time we hear a lot of stuff on the internet about how to stay positive, how to stay motivated, how to stay happy, how to stay excited. All of that's great, and all of that is incredible advice that we need. But the problem with that is it's only temporary. And you've seen this happen quite often in your life as well. But I've seen it happen in mine. I've seen it happen in the lives of so many different people that I coach. And so I can say this for a fact. But that motivation, that positivity, that hyper energy that you get, well, that's temporary. It does make you feel powerful, but does that power really last? No. Why? Because something else comes up instead of the power, another problem that you don't know how to deal with, and that's the negative emotions that come up in our lives. And the reason I say they're a topic very close to my heart is because I've seen time and again so many people with the greatest potential, the best of abilities, the best talent ever who are not successful, who are not growing, who are not achieving their dreams. Why? Because this is the one thing that they are stuck upon. They're trying very hard, not that they're not. They're putting in the efforts. They're really sincere in doing all of that. But because they don't know how to deal with the negative emotions that keep cropping up again and again, all the effort that they put into their success that gets sabotaged. They may deserve the best, but they don't get the best because they're not aligned to getting the best in their lives. The moment we work on the negative emotions and on the thoughts that are going inside that are blocking us, we clear the pathway for abundance and success and happiness and so much more to flow in naturally and effortlessly. And I know you want that in your life. I know that's the magic you want to create. But no matter what happens, you are the person who's able to succeed. Where the world could go up and down, but you know that you have the strength to figure out the challenges and to make your way through it. All of that's possible. That incredible resilience that we dream of, that grit, that passion, that determination, all of that is in your hands. It's who you are. But it's like this. Imagine a beautiful white sparkling BMW car. You'd like to drive that, wouldn't you? You may even have one. But imagine that car in that beautiful, perfect pearl white color. It's looking so beautiful. It's looking so shiny. It's looking like it's just come off the factory floor. That's how beautiful it's looking. So that's one car that's there. And I want you to imagine another car. The same BMW, the same pearl white color, the same manufacturing kit, everything about the car is the same. Only difference is this one is covered with so much mud you can't even see the white color. You can't even figure out if this is a BMW or not. Which one would you like to drive? Think about the answer and tell me the answer. Would you like to drive the sparkling white clear BMW, or would you like to drive the one that has all this mud and all this dirt on it? We can't even figure out if the color is white in the first place. Well, if all of us are rational human beings, we know the choice we'll make, and it's the pearl white sparkling color BMW. But at the core, it's the same, right? At the core, the engine's the same, the interior is going to be the same. Yet, because it is covered with so much muck and dirt and mud, we don't want that. We don't pay attention to that. We don't value it enough. So when I say to you that courage and passion and determination and grit and all the qualities for success are there within you, all the power that you want is there within you, that's what I mean. You are the pearl white BMW who's covered up with so much mud, even you can't see that there's a pearl white sparkle inside that deserves all the success in the world. That mud, that muck, that dirt, well, that's the negative emotions that you go through. So you see, we think only of the positive emotions, we think only of creating better emotions and all. But no, if there's no acknowledgement for the fact that the BMW is dirty in the first place, would you even wash it? For example, if you are the owner and someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, your car is looking very dirty. Why don't you wash it?" "Huh, my car? My car is not dirty at all. See, it is perfect." You see, I don't want to look like a perfectionist, so I allow the imperfections on my car. How dare you say that my car has dirt? My car is perfectly fine. Will you even argue with this person? Will you even tell this person to change? Will you ever go again to this person and say, "Hey, your car's dirty, get your car washed"? Of course not, because there's no point. There's no acceptance for the fact that there's mud, there's dirt on the car. But now imagine the second conversation. You go up to this person and you say, "Hey, your car's not looking really good. Why don't you get it washed? It's covered up with so much mud." And that person says, "Oh, yeah, I've also recognized it. I'm going to do that soon. I'll get it done." Now, that's such a different response than, "Oh, my car is perfect. My car is sorted. There's nothing wrong with my car," when you can clearly see there's so much wrong with the car. But as long as there's denial, as long as there's no acknowledgement of the problem, can the problem ever be solved? No. Just like that, with our negative emotions that are sabotaging us, that are blocking us, that are creating problems for us, the number one reason we remain stuck with them and why they keep repeating again and again in our lives is because we are in the denial and we don't acknowledge the problem. It's because we are feeling ashamed of feeling these negative emotions. We are feeling guilty for thinking negatively about ourselves, for doubting ourselves, for worrying unnecessarily, any and all things that you might be going through. But listen to me here. If you acknowledge the problem, can you change it? Of course you can. But if you don't acknowledge the problem, if you just keep pretending everything's fine, can you ever change it no matter how many efforts you put in? Of course not. So, for now, for today, can you let go of the need to be right? And can you accept the fact that, yeah, there are some negative emotions that keep coming back again and again and keep blocking my growth? I'm willing to see them today. I'm willing to accept them for what they are. Now, that's a completely different attitude. That's a person who's ready to grow, a person who's ready to improve. And by the way, there's a reason some people get a lot of results and a lot of success in coaching and some people do not. And being a coach myself, I'm telling this to you very honestly. No program, no coaching ever has 100% success rate, but that's not because the coaching doesn't work. This is the only difference. People who are ready to acknowledge and accept the problems, they change, they get the results. But then there are other people who are like, "No, my life's fine, my life's perfect. I don't need anything." Well, even if they're going through problems, the coach cannot do anything there. So if you have been facing recurring negative emotions that are blocking your power and your success in your life, ask yourself this: am I even acknowledging the problem? And when the answer is no, change the answer. Come up with a better answer and say, "Yes, there is a problem. It's okay. I accept it. I am ready to work through it." So, the moment you do this, you're able to stop being stuck in your negative emotions and you can move on to the second step of dealing with them. And that is to figure out, why are you feeling them in the first place? Now, that's an important question to ask. That's an important question to stick through with, because, and I firmly believe in this, I've taken a pause here deliberately to make sure you lean in, to make sure you pay attention and you listen to this very clearly, because human beings do not hold on to anything until and unless it does not serve them. We are people who are wired to have survival of the fittest. That's our biology. That's what every animal on this planet does. And if negative emotions were not helping us, right, we would not have held on to them. The problem is, our mind comes up with very different scenarios, very, not even different, but illogical scenarios, where it's actually harming us, but somewhere our subconscious mind believes, oh yeah, this emotion is helpful, and that's why it repeats again and again in our lives. So let's take the emotion of guilt for an example, because I know a lot of us hold on to guilt as something that's like a core part of our heart. We are guilty of doing something wrong. We are guilty of not doing something right. We are guilty of taking a wrong stand. We are guilty of not taking a stand when it mattered. And all these thoughts that overburden us and that they make us feel, do I even ever do the right thing? So whether it's in your career, whether it's in your relationship, even whether it's in your health, that guilt and shame that you carry inside, but you never share it with anyone, you never open up about it, you never work through it, you never accept it, you never honor it. That's the reason you are being stuck in your life for so long. But let's take it as an example of what happens when you actually ask yourself, why am I holding on to guilt? Think about it. What's the benefit that you are getting when you're holding on to the emotion of feeling guilty? Have you ever asked that question to yourself? I know it's a pretty crazy question to ask, but the moment we ask the crazy questions, we unlock our biggest breakthroughs. I love that line. The moment we ask the crazy questions, we unlock our biggest breakthroughs. I'm going to write that down after the session's done. But so let's stick with this crazy question for now. And now that we've asked ourselves, why do we hold on to guilt? Can I let you know why that is? Because I'm sure you will be blown away by it. You'll be blown away by the real reason of how it actually serves us, even though it's a negative emotion. So, when you're feeling guilty, you can feel sorry for yourself. You can feel sorry for the other person. You can show that you care. You can show that you're remorseful. You can show that you really regret anything that happened in the past. That's why you're holding on to this guilt, but that guilt is also comfort zone for not being accountable and not taking action to correct the situation. Let that sink in. We hold on to guilt not because we feel bad. We hold on to guilt because it allows us to justify why we are not holding ourselves accountable and why we are not taking corrective measures, why we are not taking responsibility for the mess we may have contributed to. Because if you has to say, okay, I refuse to feel guilty, it was a mistake, I'm not going to repeat it again, it's okay, I'm going to take the steps to improve it, then you no longer have any space to feel sorry for yourself. You no longer have any space to get sympathy or attention from the other person if anyone else is involved in this situation. And you have no other option left but to take action and correct it. Now, a logical mind would like to do that. But a mind that likes to prove itself right, a mind that chooses comfort, a mind that doesn't really want to take action, well, feeling guilt is a way to avoid that action without being direct about the fact that I don't want to correct this or I don't want to take any action step. You see, our negative emotions serve us. Now, this was just one example. There are hundreds and hundreds of breakdowns I can give you on how every single negative emotion that we go through actually has a covert purpose we are using it to fulfill in our lives. So we might say, oh, this emotion is limiting us, this emotion is blocking us, but actually it is recurring and repeating in our lives because somewhere, in some weird way, it is serving us. And the way you finally break that chain is not to say, I refuse to feel guilty now, I'm sorry. No. The way you change that is by accepting the fact that, yes, I've been using my guilt to feel this way. Now, I choose to accept responsibility and I choose to stop feeling guilty by taking the right actions. Now, that's the attitude of someone who's willing to improve. That's the attitude of someone who's willing to change and take action. For that person, growth, success, abundance, money, everything flows in effortlessly because the mud is clearing out and the sparkling white BMW is coming back to life. This requires a lot of self honesty. That's why acceptance versus denial was the first point that I covered. But really get this to your core. This has the potential to change your life if you can have an honest conversation with yourself in this manner, where one, you accept all the negative emotions you're going through, and second, you ask yourself, if they've been repeating so much in my life, they're serving me a purpose. What's that purpose? Be authentic with yourself for it, be real with yourself for it, change that purpose, turn it into something that's better, turn it into something that's more positive, like we just did with guilt as an example, and you will be amazed at how rarely the feeling ever comes back. It may, and it's a good thing if it does sometimes, but it will not be a pattern, it will not be a limiting factor. It will completely clear out like the mud. Now, any car, you drive it on the road, somewhere or the other, a bit of dirt it catches, anyways, right? Just like that, in our life, as we go through it, we may catch on to these negative emotions, but will they stick up like the mud that blocks our potential and hides away the version of us that can achieve success? No, that version shines. A few scars, a few dirty spots, that's okay. Everybody has a mess, but you will shine like a star only when you are willing to be real here. You're willing to look at your negative emotions in this way, and you are willing to clear off that mud and shine like that beautiful, successful, sparkling white BMW that you are. I love that metaphor. That's why I repeated it once again. I hope this was very helpful to you. Just know this as our ending point for today. Sit with these questions, look at your negative feelings, and you will be amazed at the power of self authenticity and connection with yourself that it brings. Create that connection today, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time at 8:30 p.m. Till then, have a good night. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being here. I'll see you soon tomorrow. Bye.